She asked the rich kid if he wanted gluten-free air. 2 years later, he watched her accept a Forbes under 30. While his mom turned ghost white, ever been sized up in 3 seconds and written off as just the bodega girl? Ever had someone smirk at your hoodie, your accent, your 4 a.m. grind, and act like your whole life story was already decided? This story will have your jaw on the floor from minute 1. It was one of those January mornings in 2024 when the cold doesn't just bite at fucking choose. Washington Heights, 181st, and Audubon. The kind of cold that turns your breath into a cloud and your fingers numb before you even finish rolling the gate up. I'm Valentina Morales, 23. Everybody calls me Val. I'm standing behind the counter of Morales & Son Bodega in an old Columbia hoodie, 2 sizes too big hair in a messy bun that hasn't seen a brush in 3 days. Slicing pork rolls so fast, the knife's basically a blur. My dad died 8 months ago, COVID. 1 week he was yelling at me for putting too much oregano in the pernel. Next week he was in a body bag. My mom's up in Bronx Psychiatric, hasn't said a full sentence since the funeral. My little brother, Mateo, 12 going on 30, is asleep on a cot in the back next to the beer fridge because our apartment got too expensive after the medical bills. I had offers, real offers. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Jane Street, the whole damn list. 6 figures signing bonuses that could have paid rent for a decade. I turned them all down the day my dad's heart stopped in the ambulance. Because this bodega, this 400 square foot shithole with the flickering neon beer signs and the cat that won't stop pissing in the plantains. This is the only thing he left us. And I wasn't about to let it die with him. So here I am, 4:15 a.m., making chorizo egg and cheese like it's an Olympic sport. The Dominican ladies getting off the night shift at New York Presbyterian are already lined up for their café con leche. The MTA guys want bacon, egg, and cheese with a chopped cheese on the side. The crackhead who calls himself Jesus is asleep standing up outside the door, waiting for his free coffee. Same routine every single day. Then this guy walks in. Tall, white, expensive everything, like someone took a J. Crew catalog and gave it legs. Long camel coat scarf probably cost more than my monthly Con Ed Bill Ray-Bans pushed up into his hair, even though the sun isn't up yet. He looks around like he just landed on Mars, takes 1 step inside, and the whole bodega goes quiet for half a second. The way New York only goes quiet when something's about to be real awkward. He clears his throat. Excuse me, do you have anything gluten-free, organic, grass-fed, sustainable sourcings? The silence breaks. Old man Ramon in the corner snorts so hard his café con leche comes out his nose. Jesus outside yells, "Gluten-free air, baby," without even opening his eyes. I don't look up from the grill. I just keep flipping eggs. Yeah, bro, we got gluten-free air. It's free. Organic attitude comes with it, no extra charge. The whole store loses it. The Dominican ladies are slapping the counter, dying. One of them goes, "Ay, mami, tú eres fuego." I finally glance up. Camel coat is red from his neck to his hairline. He mumbles something, grabs the first sandwich I slide across the counter. Definitely not gluten-free. Pays with 100, tells me to keep the change like he's doing me a favor, and bounces. I figure that's the last I'll ever see of him. Wrong. Next morning, 6:02 a.m. There he is again. Same coat, same scarf, same confused rich boy face. Buys a bacon, egg, and cheese, stands by the lotto machine, watching me work like I'm a Netflix documentary. Day 3, he's there at 5:47. Day 4, he asks if I ever thought about elevating the concept, the brand. I laugh so hard I almost burn the roll. Elevate, my guy, we're just trying to survive the rent hike, not open in Soho. He keeps coming, every single day. Sometimes he talks, sometimes he just watches. The regulars start calling him Bex because he looks like a Beckham that got lost on the way to a yacht. I call him nothing. I don't have time for names. What nobody knows, not my mom, not Mateo, not my Columbia friends who still blow up my phone begging me to come to my senses, is that I'm building something at 3 a.m. when the city finally shuts up. On a busted 2017 MacBook with a cracked screen and a battery that lasts 11 minutes, I'm coding an app. Bodega Bites. An ordering platform that partners with corner stores, gives them tech, logistics, marketing, all of it, and in exchange, we split revenue and create real jobs for kids who look like me and Mateo. Kids the system wrote off before they even got their first report card. I've been sending the deck to every VC in the country from a burner email. No last name, no photo, just the numbers, just the vision. 3 weeks ago, an email hit my inbox that made me sit on the bodega floor and cry so hard I thought the cat was gonna call 911. Subject line: Forbes under 30. You're a finalist. I didn't tell a soul, not one. Because talking is dangerous when you're still the girl behind the counter everyone feels sorry for. When they still whisper such a waste every time I walk past. When rich boys in camel coats look at you like you're a charity case with nice eyes. So I keep smiling, keep chopping. Keep taking the L's in silence. Because every time someone looks at this bodega and sees just a corner store, I see an empire. Every time someone looks at me and sees the bodega girl, I see the name about to be on the side of buildings. Every time Camel Coat stands there watching me like I'm some sad little feel-good story, I smile a little sweeter. Because I know something he doesn't. The knife is already sharp. The meat's already on the chopping block. And when the day comes, I'm not just gonna cut it. I'm gonna serve it cold. Right to his face. And the whole fucking city is gonna watch. After the morning I roasted Camel Coat so bad the whole store was wheezing, I honestly thought he'd disappear forever. Nah. Dude started showing up more regular than the 6 a.m. MTA guys. Sometimes he was already there when I rolled the gate up leaning against the wall with 2 Dunkin' coffees, like it was nothing. He'd hand me one without a word. I'd take it sip and hit him with, "Don't think a $2.49 coffee's gonna buy you brownie points, rich boy?" He'd just grin that half-shy, half-cocky grin that started getting under my skin. I didn't like him, not really, but I didn't hate him either. He was like a stray cat that kept coming back, and somehow I stopped shooing him away. Meanwhile, I was living 2 completely different lives. Day life, Val the bodega girl. Up at 4, unlock the gate fire. Up the grill, make café con leche strong enough to wake the dead sling chorizo egg and cheese like it's the Olympics. I knew every regular who wanted hot sauce on the side, who needed their roll extra toasted, who was $2 short this week and would pay me Friday. My hands were calloused from chopping pernil, my feet hurt 24/7, but I smiled at every single person who walked in, even when my heart was in pieces. Nightlife, Val the founder. Close up at 2 a.m., mop the floor, count the drawer, hug Mateo goodnight, then crawl up to the tiny storage room above the store that used to be my dad's crash pad when he and Mom fought. I'd crack open that busted 2017 MacBook with the spiderweb screen and code until my eyes burned. I was building Bodega Bites, an app made by bodegas for bodegas. Real-time ordering our own driver's fare cuts and most important jobs for kids from the block who the system had already thrown away. I cold emailed every VC in the country from a burner Gmail with no photo, no school name, no last name. Just numbers, just vision. Money I hustled. Sold my Yeezys on StockX. Sold the Apple Watch my dad gave me for my 21st. Sold the thin gold chain my mom brought from DR when she was 19. I ate 1 meal a day, sometimes 0. There were nights I cried from hunger but kept typing. Because if I stopped, the dream died. And I'd already buried too many things that year. Camel Coat, real name Ethan Caldwell. I clocked it off his Amex the 3rd week. Started asking smarter questions. Not the dumb rich boy shit anymore. He'd ask about inventory turns, gross margins, labor costs. One day, he watched me ring up 22 sandwiches in 90 seconds without a POS and just whispered, "Jesus, Val." I shrugged. This ain't talent. This is survival. March came freezing rain. Mateo came home with a busted lip because some kid at school called him bodega trash. I held him while he cried into my hoodie, then told him straight, "One day, lil man, they're gonna call you boss. You just gotta make it to that day." Then I went upstairs and coded until sunrise. May 2025, I got the email that changed everything. Heights Capital, a Black woman-led fund in Brooklyn. The partner Jasmine wrote I grew up on 174th and Wadsworth. I know what a real bodega smells like. Your deck made me cry at my desk. Let's talk. We met at a Dominican spot on Dykeman. She looked at my ripped sneakers, my faded hoodie, my tired eyes, and slid a $2 million term sheet across the table. No questions about pedigree. Just said, "I see you. Don't let me down." I signed with shaking hands and cried into my mango right there in the restaurant. Word started spreading. More bodegas signed on, 38 in total. I hired 2 kids from the block who'd been kicked out of high school and taught them to code the same way my dad taught me to slice pork, slow, precise, no quitting, even when your hands bleed. They called me Jeffa and meant it. Ethan kept showing up. He wasn't asking dumb questions anymore. He was asking real ones. Retention rates, customer acquisition cost, burn rate. One day he caught me cursing out a meat supplier in Spanish, so loud the cat ran out the store. When I hung up, he was grinning. I snapped. "What's so funny?" he said. "You're terrifying when you're in boss mode. It's hot." I rolled my eyes so hard I almost saw my own brain. But something fluttered. Tiny. Annoying. His mom, Elizabeth Caldwell of the Caldwell & Sons empire, heard about the bodega girl her son wouldn't shut up about and sent him a text I accidentally saw when he left his phone on the counter. "Darling, if you insist on dating below 90th Street, at least pick someone from Soho." I laughed, handed the phone back, and said, "Tell your mom I said thanks for the upgrade." He turned redder than the hot sauce bottle. August 2026. Bodega Bites went live. 38 stores, 400 drivers, all kids from the Heights, Harlem, the Bronx. First week revenue, 87Ks. I stood behind the counter staring at the numbers on my cracked iPhone and cried so hard, Jesus outside thought someone died. He poked his head in, "Mommy. You good?" I laughed through the tears. "I'm good, Jesus. For the first time since my dad left, I'm really good." Ethan was there that day, bought a sandwich, looked at me for a long second, and said, "Quiet, I knew you were special the first morning." I just didn't know how special. I didn't answer. I was too busy. Busy getting ready for the moment the whole world would have to eat every single word they ever said about me. Forbes Under 30 Summit was coming. I had the ticket. Front row, they flew me first class, but I still wore the same hoodie that smelled like grill smoke and tears. Because real power isn't standing on a stage. Real power is standing right here in the grease and the heartbreak and still building something nobody thought you could. I was ready. Ready for the day the lights hit and I stopped being the bodega girl. Ready to become every hater's worst nightmare. 1 month to go. And the blade was sharper than ever. October 2027, Lincoln Center, Forbes Under 30 Summit. The night the entire food tech world showed up in designer sneakers and fake humility to clap for each other. I'm sitting in the green room wearing the same black hoodie I've had since sophomore year at Columbia. The one with the faded letters and the tiny burn hole from the grill. Hair in a low bun, no makeup, no jewelry, except the thin gold chain my dad gave me when I got into college. The producers keep asking if I want a touch-up. I tell them, nah, I'm good. This is the uniform. They think I'm joking. The Caldwell family is in the front row, all of them. Elizabeth Caldwell in head-to-toe Chanel pearls so big they look like they're choking her. Ethan next to her in a navy suit, looking like he hasn't slept in days. He texted me that morning, "I'm proud of you no matter what happens tonight." I left him on red. Not because I was mad, because I was terrified. The ceremony starts. They do the Legacy Awards first. Some 28-year-old who sold his NFT startup for $400 million to Stanford dropout who disrupted toothpaste. Every time someone claps, I feel the hoodie sticking to my back with sweat. Then the MC, that guy from CNBC who always sounds like he's selling you something, walks out and says, and now the category everyone's been waiting for. The company that's about to change how America eats. The fastest growing food platform in the country this year. Raised $42 million in Series A in 18 months. Currently in 11 states, 8,000 jobs, created 70% for formerly incarcerated or at-risk youth. Founder and CEO, Valentina Morales, Bodega Bites. The room goes dead. Not quiet, dead. You could hear a single grain of rice drop. I walk out. No music, no hype video. Just my Timbs hitting the stage. The spotlight is so bright it feels like God himself is staring at me. I grab the mic, look straight at the front row, and smile the smallest, coldest smile I own. 2 years ago, somebody in this room walked into my bodega at 5 a.m. and asked if we had anything gluten-free, grass-fed sustainable. I pause. Let it breathe. Tonight, that same bodega girl just became the biggest threat to every overpriced, overfunded food app in this building. The gasp is audible. Phones come out. Someone in the back actually drops their drink. I click the deck. Slide one $42 million Series A led by Heights Capital and Union Square Ventures. Slide 2, 1 to 400 bodegas, live 40,000 orders a day. Slide 3 photo of Jesus, my homeless regular, holding a paycheck with his real name on it for the first time in 12 years. Slide 4 photo of Mateo, my little brother, standing in front of the bodega with a Columbia acceptance letter in his hand, early decision class of 2034. Then the final slide. It's security cam footage from the morning Ethan first walked in. He's in the camel coat. I'm behind the counter roasting him. The whole room sees it. Sees me say gluten-free air, and the entire store lose their shit laughing. I let the clip play for 5 full seconds. Then I look straight at Elizabeth Caldwell. Her face is whiter than the pearls around her neck. I kept the hoodie, I say, pulling at the fabric. Still smells like Pernal and broke dreams. Figured I'd wear it tonight so nobody forgets where this all started. The room explodes. Standing ovation. People screaming. Grown men crying. Someone in the balcony yells, "Washington Heights," and the whole upper tier starts chanting it. Ethan is on his feet before anyone else. Clapping so hard his hands are red. Tears streaming. He doesn't even try to hide it. Elizabeth doesn't stand. She can't. She's frozen. Mouth open like she just watched her entire bloodline get canceled in 4K. I walk to the edge of the stage, still holding the mic. One more thing, I say, voice steady. To every investor who ghosted me because my address had Heights in it. To every professor who said I was wasting my potential. To every person who looked at a 23-year-old Dominican girl in a hoodie and thought she's just the bodega girl, I smile. The real one this time, the one my dad taught me. Thank you, y'all made tonight taste so much sweeter. I drop the mic, actually drop it thud on the stage, and walk off while the place loses its damn mind. Backstage, the Forbes people are freaking out trying to hand me the trophy. I take it, set it on the floor, and FaceTime Mateo from the hallway. You see it, mijo? He's crying. I saw it, Val. The whole block saw it. They closed 101st. People dancing in the street. I laugh so hard I can barely breathe. Then Ethan finds me. He doesn't say anything at first. Just pulls me into him and holds me so tight I can feel his heart hammering against my chest. When he finally speaks, his voice cracks. I knew the first day. I swear to God I knew. I pull back, look him dead in the eyes. No, you didn't. You just got lucky enough to watch it happen. Then I kiss him. Right there in the hallway with cameras flashing and people screaming my name. Because tonight, the bodega girl didn't just win. She took the whole fucking game. And the city, my city, finally said my name right. The morning after the Forbes stage went nuclear, I woke up to 181st Street looking like carnival. Somebody had strung Christmas lights across the whole block in October. Old Dominican ladies were blasting bachata from their windows at 7 a.m. Kids were running around with printed screenshots of my face, taped to broomsticks like it was a parade. Jesus was standing on the corner, wearing a cardboard crown. Somebody made him yelling. I told y'all the Queen was coming. I opened the gate and the line was already 50 deep, people wanting selfies, wanting hugs, wanting to touch the hoodie like it was the damn Shroud of Turin. I made 400 sandwiches before 10 a.m. and gave every single one away for free. That was my thank you to the block that never let me starve. Elizabeth Caldwell showed up at 5:15 a.m. 3 days later. No driver, no security, no Chanel. Just a long black coat and the kind of face that hasn't slept since the stage lights hit her. I was slicing pork roll, same as always. She stood at the counter like any other customer until I looked up. The store went quiet the way it only does when real shit is about to happen. She didn't speak for a full minute. Then she said, voice shaking, "Valentina, I owe you an apology in front of the people I hurt." She turned to the line of regulars. Jesus, Ramon, the night shift nurses, everybody, and bowed. Actually bowed. I was wrong about you. I was cruel. And I'm sorry. Then she pulled out a little velvet box, opened it, and slid my grandmother's gold chain across the counter, the one I sold to fund the seed round. She'd tracked it down through 3 pawn shops in the Bronx. "This belongs to you," she whispered. "And if my son is half the man I raised him to be, he'll spend the rest of his life trying to deserve you." I didn't cry in front of her. I waited till she left, then went in the back and ugly cried into a case of Goya beans. Ethan didn't propose with a ring in some rooftop garden bullshit. 2 weeks later, on a random Tuesday, he showed up at closing time with a chopped cheese from the bodega on 207th. That everybody swears is better than mine, it's not. But whatever. He sat on the milk crates out back where my dad used to smoke cigars and said, "I'm not asking you to leave this place. I'm asking if I can stay." Then he pulled out a deed Morales and Son. The building, the whole thing paid off in my name, and Mateo's name forever. No rent, no mortgage, just ours. He said I used my trust to buy the block. Not to own it. To give it back to the people who actually run it. I stared at him for a long time, then took the chopped cheese, took a bite, and said, "You're lucky this sandwich is fire, Caldwell." Then I kissed him with onions still on my breath. That was our yes. We turned the original bodega into Bodega Zero, the flagship, the museum, the community center. Still open 24/7, still $3.50 for a BEC, still the same cat sleeping on the plantains. But now there's a little plaque by the grill that says, "In memory of Luis Morales. He taught his daughter how to chop it better than Wall Street ever could." And upstairs, we built a free coding academy for kids from the block. First graduating class had 22 students. 18 got full ride offers to college. One of them was the same kid who called Mateo Bodega rat back in middle school. He cried when he handed me his acceptance letter to Cornell. Said, "Miss Val, I was trash. You turned me into somebody." I told him, "Nah, baby. You always were somebody. You just needed the block to remind you. Elizabeth." She shows up every Friday now, sleeves rolled up, hair in a bun, making café con leche for the senior citizens who can't stand in line anymore. She still wears pearls, but they're smaller now. And she calls me Mija. For real, the wedding was never going to be in some ballroom. Summer 2028, we shut down 181st from Audubon to Broadway. White tent in the street merengue, and drill music alternating the grill going nonstop. Mateo walked me down the aisle, wearing my dad's old apron over his suit. I wore a simple white dress my mom helped pick out during one of her good weeks. Ethan wore a white linen shirt, and the same Timbs he wore the night he proposed. The vows were short. He said, "I don't want to give you the world. You already took it. Just let me stand next to you while you run it." I said, "Deal. But you're still on grill duty every Sunday." The whole block cheered so loud, the cops who showed up for noise complaints ended up staying for plate. And the best part, the bodega never closed. Not once. Not even for the wedding. We just moved the counter outside, kept slinging sandwiches between the ceremony and the reception. Because that's who we are. That's who we'll always be. Sometimes at 4 a.m., when the city's quiet and it's just me and Ethan opening the gate together, he'll look over and say, "Still can't believe the bodega girl let me stay." I'll laugh, bump him with my hip, and answer, "I didn't let you stay, Poppy. You just finally caught up." And that's the truth. The block raised me, the bodega saved me. And now we're saving everybody else. One sandwich, one job, one kid at a time. So yeah, they used to call me just the bodega girl, like it was the worst thing you could be. Now when people say it, they smile. They bow their heads a little. Because they know the rest of the story. And the story ain't over. It's just getting started. It's 2029 now, 2 years after the wedding. And some mornings, I still can't believe this is my life. The block looks the same, but different. Same cracked sidewalks. Same Dominican flags hanging off every fire escape. Same old dudes playing dominoes on the milk crates. But now there's a mural of my dad on the side of the building. 10 stories tall, smiling down like he's watching the grill for me. Bodega Zero is still open 24/7, still $3.50 for a BEC. No matter how many times the tourists try to pay with $100 bills and want a photo. Mateo's at Columbia, now freshman living in the same dorm I did. But every weekend he comes home, puts on the apron, and works the grill, like he was born doing it. He says it keeps him humble. I say it keeps him from turning into one of those kids who forgets where the rent money came from. Ethan and I live in the apartment above the store. Yeah, the same tiny 2-bedroom where I used to code on a folding table at 3 a.m. We could have moved to some penthouse downtown, but every time the idea came up, we just looked at each other and laughed. This is home. The fridge still hums too loud, the shower still takes 5 minutes to get warm, and sometimes Jesus sleeps on our steps when it rains. That's family. We got a daughter now, Luisita, named after my dad. She's 1.5, fat, cheeks, curly hair, already knows how to say cafe and Dame Beso. On Sundays, the whole block comes through the drivers, the kids from the coding academy, the grandmas who taught me how to season pernil. Ethan flips eggs like he's been doing it his whole life, he hasn't. But he tries real hard not to burn them now. And I handle the line still faster than any POS system money can buy. People ask if I ever get tired. I tell them the truth, I get tired, but never of this. Never of the smell of onions hitting a hot grill at 5 a.m. Never of the sound of the gate rolling up and knowing the block is counting on us to start the day right. Sometimes tourists come in wide-eyed asking for the famous bodega girl. I just laugh and point to the plaque by the register. She ain't famous. She just never left. Elizabeth, my mother-in-law, still weird to say, runs the foundation side now. She wears Bodega Zero t-shirts under her blazers to board meetings downtown and shuts down anybody who tries to talk gentrification in the Heights. She says raising money for at-risk kids is the only thing that quiets the guilt she still carries from that night at Lincoln Center. I told her guilt is a waste of energy. Action is what matters. She heard me. She shows up. And the message, look, I'm not gonna hit you with some corny believe-in-yourself poster shit. Life's harder than that. What I learned, what I live every single day, is simpler and realer. Don't let anybody else write the price tag on your life. They'll try. They'll look at your block, your accent, your hoodie, your zip code, your skin, your grief, whatever, and tell you what you're worth. Don't argue with them. Just outwork them. Outlove them. Outbuild them. Quietly, relentlessly. Until one day they wake up and realize the person they called just is the one holding the keys to everything they thought they owned. That's it. That's the whole secret. I still wear the same hoodie when it's cold. Still smells faintly like grill smoke and onions. Still got that little burn hole near the pocket. Some nights I stand out front at 4 a.m. with Luisita asleep on my chest in the baby carrier, watching the city breathe, and I talk to my dad quiet enough that only the wind hears. I did it, Poppy. I turned the corner store into something bigger than both of us ever dreamed. But I never left. I promised you I wouldn't. Then I opened the gate flip on the lights fire up the grill. Because empires don't mean shit if you forget where you chop the meat. And every morning when the first customer walks in, whether it's Jesus looking for coffee, or a hedge fund, bro who saw me on CNBC, or a kid from the block who just got his first paycheck, I look them in the eye, smile the same smile I've had since I was 23, and say the same thing. Welcome to Morales & Son. What can I get you? Because at the end of the day, I'm still the bodega girl, and damn proud of it. That's the story. Now go write yours.